Okay, so I just got back from watching The Running Man, which is the remake of the original movie, which is based on the book that Stephen King wrote, but he wrote it under a different pen name originally because obviously, he wanted to do things differently because he was known for doing horror movies and that kind of stuff. And The Running Man, of course, is a very different kind of beast. This one is directed by Edgar Wright, who generally knocks it out of the park for every movie that he does. But this is one that a lot of folks like myself that are near and dear to the original movie from 1987 or 88, whatever it was, that stars Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's definitely one of his most underrated films, I would say, because there is just so much corny, cheesy action and just so many great little set pieces and things like that. This one, of course, is a lot different in the way it presents itself. It's more based on the actual book, although there are some differences from what I understand. I know one of the things they did change was the ending between how the book ended versus how it ended in the movie. I'm not really familiar with the ending of the book, but I know that is one major difference. Um, but from what I understand, it's a lot more faithful than the original movie. So you're not gonna get some of the crazy antics, like you're not gonna encounter like Sub Zero, for example, from the original movie. It's a completely different cast of characters from what they had in the movie. There is a couple of Easter eggs though for fans of the original movie, so you're definitely gonna see that. So nothing to worry about there. Um, but as far as like the movie itself, I'm not going to really spoil anything. I don't want this to be like a spoiler review. This is definitely something that if you want to get spoilers, you should go seek those out elsewhere because I just want to give a general impression for anybody that is wondering about, hey, should I go watch the movie this weekend or maybe next weekend or something like that. And if you're into action movies, if you're into those kind of things, I would say yes, although I do have to point out a couple of caveats. First of all, there is some political messaging with this movie. So, because there's been a lot of crazy shit going on in the world, in case you haven't noticed over the past, well, I guess you could say over the past 10 plus years, although it definitely ratcheted up over the past year, I would say. Um, Reasons, I suppose, right? So something to keep in mind if you do want to watch the movie. Um, just you know, um, something to keep in mind. And but that being said, I really enjoyed the way that it kind of presented itself. It's kind of like a tried and true story in that regard. Hard to really root against it, and there is a lot of parallels over certain things, even with like AI and stuff like that are kind of like brought into it. Um, as far as like the actual acting, I I haven't seen a whole lot of Glenn Powell movies. I think I've seen him in four different movies from what I can recall. I know I saw him in Top Gun Maverick. I saw him in. I'm trying to think of all the movies I've seen him. I can't really think off the top of my head. This is like I know this is like the fourth one I've seen him in though. And in my opinion, it's definitely his best that I've seen him in. I haven't seen Twisters, so I can't comment on that one. But I've seen some of his other movies, including like Top Gun Maverick. I'm just kind of blanking out right now. But he definitely did a really good job. Definitely has a great screen presence and basically plays a really mad, angry, average Joe kind of person very well. Um, that has like a kind of a really good heart at the same time. Pretty likable. Josh Brolin is the main antagonist in the movie. He does a really great job in that role as well. Josh Brolin's always great though. I can't say I've been disappointed with any of his movies at all. Um, Now I'm kind of a simp personally, but a lot of people hate him. But Michael Cera is in the movie. I'm a fan of Michael Cera. Sorry, not sorry, but he actually was pretty good in this as well. He honestly did pretty good. I mean, he has like a certain way, but like if you didn't know his other stuff, you wouldn't think anything twice about it. Like you wouldn't think that was Michael Cera if you weren't familiar with him, right? Because it's not that kind of vibe. I guess you could say it's almost like, well, maybe not to this extreme with like Adam Sandler doing Rough Cut or whatever it was, that Diamond movie that he did with like Kevin Garner and a bunch of other people, that where he was actually like seriously acting instead of just doing comedy shit. Um, Obviously not to that level of acting, but he definitely stepped it up a bit, which kind of makes sense because he's like pretty much my age now. You can't really do the awkward teenager thing anymore. So, but yeah, he was great in it. He played kind of like a crazy anarchist dude kind of thing, pretty cool. And not quite as action packed as the original movie, but the setup is quite different because the original movie versus this new movie. The new movie is a lot more based on the book, where they have like a 30-day period where they're supposed to hunt them down and stuff like that, and they're supposed to survive and try to win all this money whenever they survive like certain thresholds, kill guys, and so on. Whereas like the original movie with Arnold was a very different setup. That probably would have been really hard to pull off properly back then. Maybe they could have still figured it out possibly, but they decided to go with like an arena that they had to progress through instead. um, Kind of like an American Gladiators or something like that, if you're familiar with that show. But yeah, The Running Man, it was good enough for me to pick up the poster, from which is, I'm using it as the background, that's why it's not showing up. But yeah, I picked up the poster, free from the movie lobby, because why not? Although I don't have a frame or anything that I can really put it up on. I don't know. I have no idea why I get that. I mean, you ever get those posters from the movie lobby? And you're just like, because you're like, oh, that was a good movie, or that poster looks cool, but then you just never do anything with it. Like, does anybody else have that problem? But yeah, definitely watch this movie. This movie definitely could use the support because, I mean, this was the first night that they were showing it, and I was literally one of only like six people in that showing. So hopefully it's not a sign of like certain economic conditions as to why, and hopefully it's not because of a sign of lack of interest in this subject matter. But yeah, this movie, it's great. It's great. Just watch it. I'd probably give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars overall. So watch it.